Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Agoracom in which we speak with small cap executives about big, important news going on at their companies. With us today, I'm happy to have for the first time ever, Alan Lone. He's President and CEO of Augusta Industries. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol AAO. Now, you're probably asking yourself, who is Augusta Industries? But the bigger questions that we're going to answer today are, why are the world's biggest companies their clients, and why did they just announce a major spin-out? Now, something you should know about this company, it's got two great subsidiaries. FOX-TEK, which is primarily in the oil and gas sector with non-intrusive sensing technologies. Clients there include Enbridge, Shell, and Chevron. How's that for a client list in just one of your subsidiaries? The other subsidiary, Marcon International, that's more of an industrial supply contractor servicing the energy sector. They've got a number of U.S. government entities and global companies as their clients, including the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Energy, the U.S. Air Force, Navy, NASA, and outside of the government, you've even got Qatari gas. Revenues in 2016, $4.6 million, but even that's on the rise. Here to talk about all that is Alan. Alan, welcome to our show.
Thank you. You're welcome too.
Alan, I gotta tell you something. Your client list. There isn't a small cap company in this country that wouldn't love to have just one of those companies on their client list. And you've got numerous government agencies and departments, numerous energy, big tier one energy companies. Where did you guys come from, and how are you able to pull off a client list like this?
Great question, George. It's pretty simple. When you've got a technology and some artificial intelligence that backs it up as far as software and data management and analysis, we were open to, of course, shows and seeing clients at NACE, which is the corrosion sort of go-to conference. Met a lot of clients and basically started one-on-one with them, doing meetings and sessions, and finally got some orders and ended up with some of the greatest names. And it's all because of what we can do from the front end to the back end of our technology and our software.
Yeah, because I was going to say, look, a lot of us can show up to industry conferences. A lot of us can talk to people at the booth. How great is your technology at the end of the day that you're actually able to acquire this many clients and this size of clientele as your clients? What's so great about your technology at FOX-TEK, for example?
Our technology is really renowned for its precision. The hardware itself, there are other competitors out there, but what we pride ourselves on and what the clients pride themselves on dealing with us is more of our data analysis. This does not come easy. This is scientists over the years, our engineers, our experience in the oil and gas business that had brought us together to build this model, to now analyzing data. Anyone can derive to data, but no, there aren't too many that can do analysis that is proper and is fed to the client in an intuitive fashion through portals. And that's what is the thrill there as far as clients, without naming any names, which you know a bunch of them already.
So so you're taking big data and you're really analyzing it. And suffice to say, your business, I mean, if I had to summarize your business, you're really in that pipeline monitoring data for these companies, making sure they don't have any major leaks and issues. Is that a good summary for now?
I think a brief summary of that is on the corrosion side of the business, the EFM system, the electric field mapping system, measures the thickness and any sort of breaches on a pipeline between the ID and OD of a pipe. That data is gathered, analyzed, and through the models that we have built on our DMAT, which is our data management analysis system, our clients are able to day by day, really could be hour by hour, find out what the scenario is on pipelines remotely located, and they don't even have to get out of their seat to find out what the scenario is. It's also a validation tool for a client when they use inhibitors. That's very important. When they use inhibitors to slow down corrosion, the only third party, honest third party that can tell them what is happening day to day is FOX-TEK's technology.
Now, I won't pretend to understand all of that, and probably people at home won't understand all of it as well. But here's what I do understand. When you speak like that, and then I see that Enbridge, one of your clients, your relationship with Enbridge is so strong that, in fact, they published a story about you under their name about how great your technology is. And as a small cap investor, that's everything I need to know. That's called third-party validation, because again, you know, we hear a lot of companies talk a big game, making a lot of claims, but it's not enough for someone to think their baby's the most beautiful baby in the world. Everyone else has got to agree. Tell me about, what are you doing for Enbridge that compelled them to write this amazing article about your company?
We got approached by Enbridge on the blog side where they published that article, and they did a little bit of research. We fed them, but that was driven by the end user. You see Trevor Place quoted in that article several times. He's really on the integrity side. He understands corrosion monitoring, has tried many of technologies, and had set aside a number of deals for us to bid on, which we were successful and got up to 18 really active systems today. And the reason for that, and he always says that our perfection, our analysis is a cut above all. Back to analysis again, back to the models that we have built. And again, George, I want to precisely say our scientists, engineers, and our team have perfected that to a point where we were able to build a model, a software package, DMAT, that would, on a day-to-day basis, automatically, with a little bit of overseeing, of course, but automatically go back to the stage where anyone can log on a portal, any client out there, they could be in Malaysia, and it could be in Alberta, and find out exactly how their pipeline functions on a day-to-day basis, a week to week, month to month, however the pipeline company
performing. Now that's translating not into just great client relationships, not just great publications by Enbridge, which to me is huge third-party validation, doesn't get bigger. It looks like it's translating to revenue for you. For the period July to September, it looks like you've reported about $2.4 million just in that period, when for the entire year last year, you did $4.6 million in revenue. So how's 2017 shaping up for you, and how's your pipeline look? Pardon the pun, by the way.
Yes, our pipeline looks great, both. If you want to accumulate what happened between July and today, we've signed over $3.4 million worth of orders just in the last few months, other than what was let on. Our pipeline looks pretty good till the first quarter of 2018. And there's lots of work being done. There is a lot in the pipeline as far as quotes being translated into future orders. And we are not just talking about the North American geography, but we're trying to expand on our footprint, whether it's out in Asia or the Middle East or North Africa or Europe.
Well, India looks like you guys are specifically focusing on that because you put out a press release actually about basically doing a tour and going to see potential clients in India. How were you guys received there?
India was key to us. We've been trying for a few years to find the right partner. We've matched ourselves up a number of times, but we've really found someone who's really keen in India. We were well received in India. We've got about 4 serious opportunities right now that will translate into opportunities that might become longer term orders within the next year or so. But we've actually physically had 4 great opportunities, visited over 10 different sites. And we're not just talking oil and gas on the pipeline side, but also on the refining and plant side, petrochemical, fertilizer, and steel. Big coverage for a country as big as India, of course. You're going back and forth between cities and so on, but it was a great opportunity to introduce our technology. And there is a need, and there is liquidity there in the markets for them to be able to purchase top of the line technologies.
Let's move and switch gears away from the actual business and talk about the stock side of things. Like a lot of small cap companies, sometimes it's hard to get true value for your assets. In this case, you've got two really great subsidiaries. It looks like you haven't been happy with the value that's being attributed to them. So you announced a SpinOut recently. Why the SpinOut, which we can guess from just my intro there, but what do you see as the benefits of the SpinOut to your shareholders?
The key thing about the SpinOut is FOX-TEK as a technology company, right from the day that I had acquired FOX-TEK, we amalgamated our forces together between Marcon and FOX-TEK, cleaned up the company, streamlined as far as human resource and other resources. And we're at a stage today where it really needs to shine on its own. I got a lot of advice from consultants and financial advisors that FOX-TEK really needs to be separated. It might have been smothered a little bit because of size and so on in the past, but today we're really ready for a huge rebound to take this to other places with a company that's solid, that's on its own, can stand on its own and fight on its own turf, if you will. It's time to list it on its own again, and we will see value right away.
Explain that, because it looks like what you are. You can unlock value from day one.
But unlocking value is easy to do here, because the technology is worth about $36 million is what we spent on it. That doesn't mean that that's what it's worth for someone who's looking at it. So. Right. We're priced the deal at $25 million. We're spinning that company out, and we at Augusta will be getting back shares that we will distribute to shareholders, whether on a dividend basis or a capital return basis. And that's sort of the process that we're going through right now, and that should be accomplished within 3 to 4 months.
And that's what I was going to ask you. What's the timeline looking like for the spin out? This looks like a pretty friendly spin out. You've got everything lined up for it. You've even got some financing lined up for it. So do you expect any hiccups along the way, or should this pretty much be a smooth transition?
No, I think it's a pretty smooth transaction, and we're awaiting court dates because this is a plan of arrangement.
Right.
These are just sort of basic processes that you need to go through.
You've got a novel leak detection system that's generating a lot of market interest.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. I guess we take for granted that all these pipelines, all these years, have always had these, leak detection systems. But yours is going above and beyond. So why is it attracting this much market interest?
So this typical technology is based on volatile organic compounds. So it sniffs around pipelines, or really it could be used in other industry too. So it's not just the pipeline industry. But
sniffs?
It sniffs. There are sensors that are, with fiber optic cabling that goes back to our system, and we do the analysis on that. So I call it a sniffer for just a lack of a better
All right.
They're active sensors in ground that are buried, but they don't have to be adjacent. They could be 3 to 4 or 5 feet away from the pipeline itself. And in India, there was huge attraction to that story. In the Middle East, we've got requisitions right now that we are putting out, budgetary at this point and technical, but they will develop, I think. Out west, we've got a few opportunities, and I can't talk much about it because I'm not in the freedom to talk about who's doing some testing right now, but a council, anyone that's in the industry would understand this, a council out there that does research, that has everyone's eyeballs, that operates a pipeline or an oil and gas company that's even related would get to see their test results. I'm very confident that we're coming up against others that are in an industry claiming that they could do what we can do. Again, not only the sensors based on the VOCs, but our data analysis management, again, is going to be cut above the rest.
Well, let's face it, we now live in a world where data analysis, big data, as we call it, is critical, right? It's not just the data anymore, it's analyzing what the data tells you, whether it's web or whether it's in the leak detection world. And if you're ahead of the curve on that, Alan, is it safe to say, and I know you can't talk about projected revenues, obviously, but if this testing goes well that you're talking about, this industry testing, does it open up the product globally? And obviously, it's been available globally. It's not as if you've never said to anybody it's not available, but does this take your footprint as far as your awareness of the company's technology across the country to every major, across the world, sorry, to every major player?
I think with the VOC technology, with our technology, clean tech is the next sort of buzz for us here in the office. Although we do well with the breach, corrosion breach story, but clean tech, as far as leak detection, is a priority for a lot of companies, a lot of end users, pipeline operators, and this will take us all over. We've started here in the last few weeks in India, and the amount of responses that we've received from clients that were happy we're bringing this towards India and put that deal on the table has brought a greater piece of attention to them. A little technology that they might have been aware of, but not able to see one-on-one, not able to see the quality of data analysis and so on. So yes, whether it's out west or whether it's down in the United States or elsewhere, I think
across the world.
Across the world.
Switching gears, last thing I want to ask you about is how you're starting to communicate with your investors. So you've launched a CEO verified discussion forum on Agoracom, which is obviously our platform. How helpful has that been in this early stages, kind of beta testing with it, but how helpful has it been already in your communications? What kind of feedback are you hearing from investors? And what's your plan with that going forward?
I think that is left for the time to tell, but already we've gotten, as you well see, some questions. Some people have moved over to Agoracom's discussion forum. They like it because they can send out their questions and replies come in through Agoracom. And I think the next thing is to have this CEO verified platform where I would respond directly to investors, whether current or future investors, and I think it's a great platform to work with.
Well, this is the first interview we've done. I think the big question we've answered for everyone who's watching and discovering you for the first time is now we know who is Augusta Industries, because up until now, I met you in August, right, and I didn't know about you, and I'm glad to be telling the whole world who you are. It's not only who is Augusta, but now you're answering the question, why do you have these tier one clients in both government and major energy energy companies, and why are you going through the SpinOut? So I'm so happy you came on with us today. We could talk about Augusta for another hour because you've got real revenues, real clients, new technology. You're growing your footprint, but we'll leave it there. But we're gonna have you on several more times, and it sounds like you're going to have more and more great news to talk about. So I want to thank you for being here with us and answering so many questions.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
You've been watching Alan Loan. He's President and CEO of Augusta Industries. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol AAO. You've learned about the company. Get to Agoracom. Find out more information about the company and its profile. And for existing shareholders who have questions and want to know more about the SpinOut and the things going on with the technology, get there. It's moderated, it's civilized, you ask your question, you get your answers. It's the best finance social media platform anywhere. We encourage all of you to engage with Alan because, as you can see, he's as forthright as anybody. He's got the confidence in what they're doing, which makes it even easier to answer questions. Thanks everyone at home for joining us. Alan, thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you all next time.
Sounds good. Great. Thank you. Appreciate your time.